Hello, everybody, to another edition of Regan's Corner, softball edition here. I'm with my main guy, Hansel Chew here for the play-by-play, while I will be your color commentator for today's ball game rebroadcast. So, Hansel, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing pretty good. So, since you didn't look at the scores and everything like that, so what do you think this game's going to be?
Yeah, so let's take a dive between both of these teams, South Central and Highlands. They're both around the same record-wise. They both have about a 1-2 loss differential between these two schools. So I'd say this game goes down to the wire. This game is going to be pretty close throughout the entirety of this contest. And if I had to make a score prediction, I would say 7-5 in favor of South Central.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go 3-2 the opposite way.
And for you, Josh, what are some keys for this game for South Central if they want to win this game? And what are some keys for Highland if they want to prevent South Central from winning this ball game?
First, for South Central, you got to get up on it really early, especially on the mound there. You can't have a slow inning to start it off, especially since Highland plays better competition usually, since they're a higher seed in the state tournament, where South Central is 2A, Highland's about 3-4A school. So they're going to play all the Duneland schools. They're going to play everyone around who is a bigger school with bigger kind of all that jazz. Where at Highland, you just got to keep what you're doing a little bit. You got to keep getting on base, playing a little small ball, because Satellites have struggled with that in the past. And we're going to go to our commercial break in a second. LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All Star Autos specializes in high quality used. LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All Star Autos specializes in high quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view the inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go. So, Hansel, I'm going to come back and kind of talk about it with your kind of thing as well. So what are some of the keys for the Highland Trojans?
Yeah, again, for the Trojans, you got to get out to a hot start off of the batting place. As much as, you could come back from a baseball game, um, if you come out to a hot start for Highlands, if you could secure the lead and hold it off on the mound, I feel like that could be a really big factor of Highlands winning this game, especially when they're playing a team of South Satellites caliber, where they're more experienced, have better talent, and better depth in their team. For Highlands, if they're able to get some hits in, get some runners on base, and then maybe capitalize on a mistake from South Central, that could really help them get off to a hot start.
Absolutely. And then the flip side, South Central basically the same thing. Kind of getting off a hot start on both sides of the equation and kind of going from there, where it's going to benefit more towards the fact. But Key players wise, who do you think is a key player in this game?
Let's see, a key player for this game. Man, there's a lot of great players here for South Central. So if I had to choose one, I have to start. We have to look at the pitching crew. Um, I definitely say players such as Rosenbaum for South Central has to be a big factor. I believe she's been phenomenal down the stretch here for South Central. So for her, I feel like if she could have a really good game, that would be a big factor for South Central.
Absolutely. And Lexi Johnson as well on the mound. She's had a couple great starts last couple times out. And this will be a great confidence builder going into the sectional. You play LaVille first, even though you slaughtered LaVille previous, you still got that possible matchup with Hebron, our other school we're going to cover later tonight on that Thursday of next week.
Yeah, another player to look out for too for South Central. Convoy has 4 home runs on the year, so we know that she could really hit that ball out of the park. So that's a player that for South Central you can rely on in that batting order.
Absolutely. So for Highland's batting order, who do you kind of see as somebody you do not want to get on base?
I think this is pretty clear cut. There's really no one else I'm really looking at for Highlands, especially for Sarah Swallow. She has been phenomenal for the Highlands this year. Has 30 RBIs so far on this year, given 25 hits as well as 14 second base doubles and 2 home runs on the year for Swallow. So the senior for for Highlands, that's a player I'm looking out for, and I'm South Central looking at the other team.
Absolutely, you are. Sarah has been outstanding the whole year long, getting on base at a high clip. And you got to look through the different Rivera sisters, Maya and then Evie as well, having a nice little average to themselves. And then them leading off and at the 9 hole.
Yeah, of course, the senior Rivera, 49 hits on the year, leading the team in that department, and as well as leading the team in runs scored with 30 on the year with 15 RBI. So for the senior Rivera, she's doing it. But right behind her, her younger sister, the freshman, also putting in big work as well. 18 hits on the year, 22 runs scored. So both of these Rivera sisters dangerous in the running position.
Absolutely. And we're going to go with as Rivera, the older sister, steps into the batter's box here.
As the game just starting to round out now, South Central on the mound to start out with the Highlands taking up the base or hitting first.
Absolutely.
And that ball is hit right down the middle, makes it to the shortstop. They get to the first base and they get the first out. Or, excuse me, Rivera gets to the base first before the ball gets to the first baseman. That line it as a base hit and the first hit of the ball game for the Highlands.
Absolutely. And with that speed, a slap hit with Rivera, that's going to be a single all day long. And as Johnson gets into the windup, fires.
That one's popped up, and that one lands in for a base hit once again. So kind of like a bunt action. It popped up, but the ball landed fair, and that will put runners in first and second base. And with no outs on the board for Highlands, they're off to a great start, Josh.
Absolutely. And Jordan Boyd steps in here, the sophomore, after the Reed single.
So 2 hits already given up so far. The first pitch is in for a strike right down the middle. And Josh, who is the pitcher for today for South Central leading off?
Lexi Johnson, their ace, um, again pitching as a freshman in the state championship game, and having a great year this year to build off of that. Possibly in the next 2 years, getting Division One and Division Two offers in our near future.
That ball is hit toward the left side. That one lands in as a base hit, and runner scoring down. Rivera gets into home, and they'll be stopped with second and third base runners on base. So another base hit for Highlands that puts them up 1-0 early in the top of the first.
Absolutely, and then you got runners in scoring position. You got a double out of that one, and Highlands in business so far here for to start this game off.
That's three straight hits, and that ball is hit foul away. Again, no outs on the board, and already three consecutive hits leads to the first score of the ball game in favor of the Highlands.
Yeah, the Trojans looking really good so far in this opening top of the first.
That ball is hit toward the pitcher. That lands in for the first out of the ball game.
As Johnson makes a very head IQ kind of play there, pump faking the third and then throwing a strike to first.
That's just a smart play, making sure that the base runners don't get to home. And if you're Highlands, you wanted to maybe have a sacrifice ground out to try to get the third base runner back to home and get up another run. But again, like you just talked about, Josh, great pump fake from Johnson freezes the base runner at third and gets the easy out at first.
Absolutely. As Johnson rockbacks fires just a little bit outside, as Conboy stops it enough where the runner does not take a chance there.
It called for the strike after trying to get the bunt on that play. And again, they run the bunt once again, and do they get to home in time? And yes, they do. So what a play right there from Johnson after giving up three consecutive hits. Gets one out on first base, and this time able to get the ball toward the catcher at home, and that gets up the second out of the ball game.
Absolutely. At number 10, Erica Phillips steps in here. Another sophomore on this team. They got kind of a mixture with seniors, sophomores, and freshmen here on this varsity roster for Highland.
Phillips a 2.60 batting average. That ball is hit foul away. "50 base appearances for Phillips, 13 hits on the year, and 8 RBIs so far on the season for Phillips. As runners on third and first with 2 outs on the board. That ball is hit toward the third baseman. That's an easy out, but she falls and slips on the ground. So that will get the runner home for Highlands. That raises the score up 2-0. And just a crucial mistake right there if you're South Central, able to get the easy out at first, but the third baseman falls, slips on her feet, and just couldn't make the throw.
And a little kind of backstory with that one was Taylor Bachman's been battling a knee injury all week long, and last week she hurt it during a pop-up against Portage. So she's been battling out there. So it probably just gave out that knee in that split second in that situation.
So an error right there results in a score for Highlands. And as another swing and a miss, that'll make it the 0-2 count. Has runners on first and second for the Highland Trojans. And for Lexi Johnson looking to retire this inning with 2 runs scored already. That ball a little too up high gets called for ball number 1, so the count's 1-2. Johnson a 2.6 ERA on the year as that ball is popped up and fouled away. 9-7 is her record on the year on 16 appearances.
Absolutely.
Team leading, yeah. Team leading 112 strikeouts so far for Johnson as well. The pitch from Johnson a little too far on the inside. Raise the count up 2-2.
As Zerlis being very patient here after quick 2 strikes.
That ball is grounded out and fouled away, I believe. So that would return the runner back onto the base.
So Bachman fielded it in fair play. That's going to be an infield single there for you guys at home.
So that'll put everyone on bases, so bases loaded, and another scoring opportunity for Highlands.
And the pitcher on the opposite side for the Trojans, French starting in here. This could give her a great chance to add to her cause. Already 2 runs on the scoreboard here in the top of the first.
The pitch from Johnson a little too far low on the inside, and I'll raise the count up 2-1. So 2 runs scored already here in the top of the first, off of 3 consecutive hits from Highlands to start out this ball game. 2 outs on the board with the bases loaded. A wild pitch right there from Johnson, and great recovery from the catcher to make sure that the wild pitch did not result in anything further. And the throw to third base in time, and that will result in a tagout, and that will retire the inning right there.
And we'll go to our All-Star Autos commercial break. LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view the inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All-Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see. And welcome back here, going into the bottom of the first. So, what are you seeing on the top of the first from the Highland Trojans?
Yeah, so we talked about in that pregame, for Highlands, they needed to come out strong, get some runners on base, and they did exactly that. They were able to get 3 consecutive hits. That resulted in an easy score off of that third hit for Highlands. And then a mistake, an error from South Central, again, led to another score for the Highlands. So that's exactly what we talked about in that pregame. Get runners on base early and capitalize on the mistakes of South Central, and that's what the Trojans did early in that top of the first.
Absolutely. And now Val Horn steps in.
So pitching is French for Highlands, and Val Horn is hitting up first for South Central. Val Horn, a 4.46 batting average on the year.
Especially what you want from your leadoff hitter.
Leads the entire team with the batting average. 15 RBIs, 29 hits, 35 runs scored for Val Horn. Go to the count, swing and a miss, and that'll be the first strike of the ball game for South Central.
Fouls it off there, and she's got new life there, Hansel, because she's staying alive.
I caught her break right there with the foul ball, and that ball is too far up high, gets the first ball of the set. South Central looking to respond in the bottom of the first after giving up 2 runs in the top of the first. Trailing by 2 runs. And a swing and a miss right there for Val Horn. Races to first. And she'll get sent back. So the first strike of the ball game for South Central.
And next up, Lexi Johnson.
So the pitcher, with a 4.66 batting average. So not only is she a great pitcher on the mound is Lexi Johnson, she's also a great hitter as well. Leads the team in or second on the team in RBIs with 30 and is second behind in hits as well with 34. As Johnson takes strike to number one. So it seems like a trend now, Josh, where not only South Central but also Hebron, as we're going to see it later, they do have pitchers that are also really great in the hitting department as well. You see that trend start to continue with this younger generation with, and of course, Shohei Ohtani being probably the best pitcher and hitter that we've ever seen in MLB history. Do you think that trend is continuing with this younger generation of really great pitchers and really great hitters as well?
With the game of softball, and plus, especially at this high school level, you're going to see that all the time, where you're going to have a hitter who's going to be an outstanding pitcher. It's just like Alexi Johnson, Addison Tolzik, and then you're going to have pitchers like Brooke Cunningham, that's going to be their main thing, and kind of go from there. And then with baseball side of things, with the Bren Grass starting to kind of heat up with that bat, but you're going to see it kind of 50-50, I think, in the next kind of generation. Well, because with the arms and everything like that, they're going to start kind of more babying it. You can kind of see in the next 10 to 15 years.
As Johnson's hit is fouled away, now raise up the count 2-2. And count was 3-2. And for Johnson, she took ball number 4, gets walked on her first appearance. That'll bring up the third leadoff hitter for South Central. That's going to be Kenley Werner. And statistically, Werner's the best hitter on this team. As Johnson was looking to steal second, gets held back to first.
Yeah, Warner's probably the most dangerous bat in this lineup. She's got power to all fields and a great batting average to boot.
Leads the entire team with batting average with a 5.42. And every statistical category pretty much is led by Werner, who has 39 hits on the year, along with 35 RBIs, along with 2 home runs on the year.
As she's got a Bee Gees song stuck in her head there, Hansel, as she stays alive that foul ball.
0-2 the count with 1 out. Johnson up at first base. And then swing and a miss. Yeah, it's called in for strikeout number 2. So Van Horn strikes out earlier to lead off, and now for South Central, your best hitter Werner strikes out.
Absolutely. And now Kendall Rosenbaum stepping in with kind of a hot streak going around with Kendall.
As that one is popped up and fouled away. 26 hits, 17 RBIs for Rosenbaum. The junior, also with 2 home runs on the season, has a 4.13 batting average on the year.
Absolutely. Start kind of getting that power that you can see as with a Warner or with a Conboy.
That one is landing at the base hit toward left field, and Johnson racing toward third, racing towards second is Rosenbaum, and racing back home is Johnson. So she goes from first all the way around the diamond back home, and that's an RBI hit for Rosenbaum, and I guess the first one in the ball game for South Central cuts it down to a 2-1 game.
Absolutely. And the dangerous Avery Conboy stepping in here, the senior. This is technically her last home game because she'll play another 2 since South Central hosts a sectional.
So an RBI double for Rosenbaum, and again that will bring up Conboy. A 3.23 batting average on the year for Conboy. 20 hits, 17 runs scored with 19 RBIs. Has Rosenbaum in scoring position at second base, and that one she takes in for a strike. 1-1 count and a swing and a miss once again. Holding for another strike.
In this
And off
moment,
that,
in
go
this
ahead,
moment,
Josh.
in this moment, with Convoy, you might want to choke up the bat, maybe go opposite field to get that run home.
Off of the last wild pitch, you have Rosenbaum going all the way to third.
As Avery Convoy takes for ball two there.
2 to the count. Rosenbaum at third, looking to get home. And that one is popped up and fouled away.
As Convoy staying alive here. Just a little late on it there, Hansel.
Of course, still keeps the count at 2-2. And for Convoy, she leads the team with home runs with 4. And she'll take in ball number 3. Just missed it up high on the strike zone. And the full count for Convoy. Due to the count, here's the pitch. And a check swing, got it in for a strike. Couldn't get the friendly call from the ref, and that's 3 strikeouts for South Central to retire this inning. 1 run scored off an RBI hit from Rosenbaum, and a 2-1 will go up to the top of the second.
Absolutely. And we're sponsored by Warner's Farms, American Legion, and Jody Geisha Realtor, a group in Valparaiso, Indiana. And we're sponsored by All-Star Autos. So we're going to go back into another All-Star Autos commercial break.
LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view their inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All-Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go!
Welcome into the top of the second inning here, you satellite fans. Starting us off, number 14, French there, Hansel.
Yeah, of course, struggling inning for Lexi Johnson to open up the ball game. Had 3 consecutive hits to lead off in the top of the first. Looking to get into a rhythm here in the top of the second.
Absolutely, but you like to see in the break as the infielders kind of having a little Guardian of the Galaxy kind of dance off kind of going on there.
Up to hit for the Highland Trojans is Zoe French. She'll take in 2 consecutive strikes to raise the count up to 0-2.
If you're French, what do you do in this situation?
As right there, she takes in ball #1. When you're down 0-2, it's kind of a tough situation because usually the pitcher would try to get something to get you to chase, throw a pitch to kind of get you to chase on that swing. But again, if you're French, you kind of have to trust your instinct, trust your eye, trust your guts to go for that right pitch. As right there, she takes in 2 consecutive balls.
Absolutely. Kind of being patient, kind of working the count back into a hitter's count.
As she does so, raises the count up to 2, swings in that one, and fouled away. Batting average-wise for French, not too good, .059. Has only, I believe, 1 hit on the year so far. As again, she takes in ball number three, so three consecutive balls for Johnson after giving an 0-2 count. And now we have a full count with the 3-2 for French. Here's the pitch, and a swing and a miss gets the first strikeout of the afternoon. And for Lexi Johnson, she'll get her first strikeout. We'll have the freshman Rivera now, the Rivera sisters. The younger one, Evie, now up to hit. And we talked about the Rivera sisters in the pre-broadcast.
Yes. I mean, they're both kind of able setters. With Edie and with Maya being 1 and 9, because most managers want to put their second leadoff person at the 9 position.
As that one is fouled away for a 1-1 count. And for Evie, she has a 2.81 batting average on the year. 18 hits, 7 RBIs, 22 runs scored. As that one is popped up and flied out, by the left fielder. And quickly it's a 2-out, 1-2 for Johnson.
It brings up the other Rivera sister back to back there.
Observation right there, both of the Rivera sisters are lefty hitters. As Rivera takes in strike number 1. The senior is hitting a 5.44 on the year. 49 hits and 30 runs scored. Second pitch too far to the left of the strike zone. Gets called in for ball number 1. Rivera also has 1 home run on the year. That ball a little too far down low for ball number 2. So Johnson, looking to bounce back here in the top of the second, has done so far. Has retired 2 straight batters, and now looking to make it a third with Rivera now up to hit with a 2-1 count.
Absolutely. With a 2-1 count here, as Rivera being very patient like a previous bat, slaps it.
And that's a base hit right there for Rivera.
Which she slaps it right over Taylor Bachman's head on that one.
Do you think they could have done anything differently right there, or as
No.
it seems like that one is? Did they retire the inning? It seems like all the hitters and players have left the field.
Oh, she left the box way too soon on that one. On that slap hit.
So a violation right there, that would retire the inning for Rivera. And again, still a 2-1 count as we go to the bottom of the second.
As assistant coach gets very hot on that one for the Highland Trojans. There, Hansel. And almost gets thrown out in this game. As Horn steps in here.
Yeah, so after a scoreless second inning for the Highlands, they're looking to make that a scoreless inning here in the bottom of the second, as Val Horn takes in strike number 1. Horn struck out her first time on bat. As that one is popped up away toward the center field. And they make the fly out catch for out number 1.
Val had a great drive there. It just happened to be to the left fielder, unfortunately. As Pereira flies out there, correction. As Emily Castle standing in.
Swinging a miss for Cassell. Misses on that one. Gets called for strike number 1. 2.55 batting average on the year for Cassell, as that one is popped up and fouled away.
As a quick 2 strikes to Castle here. There. What can Emily do to kind of come back and be head of the Castle in this at bat?
So again, you're down 0-2, and we talked about it before. Just be patient, trust your guts, and just wait for that or not wait for the perfect pitch, but wait for a pitch that that you can hit and land cleanly. So we saw that happen for Highlands last inning, and for South Central, you got to do the same thing as well.
Absolutely, you do.
As for Castle, she takes in 2 consecutive balls. That raises the count to 2-2. So that ball is taken in for ball number 3. And we talked about it last time, too. It happened with the Highland Trojans last inning. And now we have a full count with the 3-2 for Cassell. Swinging a miss. That one is right down the middle and caught Cassell looking. That's going to be strikeout number 4 now.
And as Bachman stepping in here after the Castle strikeout.
So 3 strikeouts in the first, 1 strikeout here in the bottom of the second. As Bachman will take in strike number 1. No runners on base with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. And that one is popped up and fouled away for strike number 2. Now to the count for Bachman, who has a 283 batting average. That one's too far up high in the strike zone. We'll take it for ball number 1. Bachman has 13 hits on the year, 17 runs scored with 6 RBIs. That one popped up and I believe fouled away toward the left foul line.
Absolutely, towards the left foul line there. Taylor just gets a little in front of it there. As she pulls it fair a little bit, that's going to be a base hit and a 2-out rally starting.
So Bachman, patiently waiting outside the batter's box, will step in now with a 1-2 count, a swing and a miss. And that's going to be strikeout number 5. That will retire the inning. 1-2-3 inning for South Central. That one still remains a score of 2-1 as we go to the top of the 3rd.
LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view the inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All-Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And
going into the top of the 3rd here, that's a neck and neck game, kind of like what we predicted.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we talked about it this game is going to be pretty close throughout the entirety of this ball game, with both of these teams being as close as they are on the standing size record-wise as well. Yeah, this game has going pretty fair with our predictions so far. As that one gets away to Johnson, and an error right there could have handled the ball cleanly, and that lands in for a base hit. So after the error from Johnson, the next hitter gets flied out for the first out of the third inning.
And that's
First pitch gets away.
That's just a bit high there, Hansel. Just a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I think Johnson was trying to go for that fastball. I think it probably got away from her hands when she was releasing that ball, resulting in that high throw getting away.
Either that fastball or her rise, either one, trying to get the hitter to chase.
And that one is popped up toward the center fielder. And what a play right there from the second baseman racing to make that play. And that makes it 2 consecutive outs.
Absolutely. Emily Castle with a running grab, a web gem for you, folks.
Turning on the Jets for that one. So runner still in scoring position for Highland with the runner at second base, but 2 consecutive outs makes the predicament a bit harder to get them home. As the first pitch swinging, got him looking for strike 1.
As the freshman Steele stands in here, trying to get one of her Trojans home to extend this lead here in Satellite Field.
As that one is swing and a miss for strike number 2. The freshman Steele, 378 batting average on the year, 28 hits, 14 RBIs, and 24 runs scored. So a very solid player for the freshman. 0-2 the count, and that one is popped up away toward the left field, and that one's fouled away.
Absolutely. And she's staying alive in this bat here with that foul ball.
Gives her another chance to bring in the runner home. 0-2 the count still, and they got him looking, I think. Or they got him for the ball, no. So they catch it for a ball, and for still staying alive here with 2 outs and a 1-2 count.
Absolutely. I mean, that umpire strike zone can be wide, it can be low, and then there's another line drive that Castle in this half inning.
First made great play, turning on the Jets to make that play, and now with the quick reaction, that's a 1-2-3 inning after a leadoff hit, and 2-1 still as we go to the bottom of the third.
LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view the inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All-Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go!
Taylor Cleek leading off here in the bottom of the third, trying to get the satellites going here as French has holding the Satellites to 1 run so far.
Yeah, so French has been playing a phenomenal game on the mound. 5 strikeouts, had 3 strikeouts in the first, and had back-to-back strikeouts to retire the inning in the bottom of the second. I just want to go back to the top of the first. I just want to shout out Cassell again, the junior, making those 2 crucial plays to retire the inning for South Central.
Absolutely. She was on top of the hill, top of the castle on that one, with those 2 web gem of the plays there.
That one tipped and fouled away. That'll raise up the count 1-2. So a 2-1 score still here in the bottom of third. And if you're asking how we got here, well, we got 2 runs scored off of 3 consecutive hits in the top of the first for the Highland Trojans. And South Central responded with a run of their own here in the bottom of the first. And last inning, had a scoreless inning for both South Central and for Highlands. So 2-2 the count. And that's a swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 6 for French. And she's wheeling and dealing now here with 6 strikeouts already here in the bottom of third.
As now Val Horn steps in. Excuse me. Later, I mentioned in the previous inning with Pereira and Horn got mixed up 1 plate appearance ago. But this is now the shortstop Val Horn as she takes in ball 1.
Yeah, Val Horn struck out her first time on the plate. Looking to make redemption right there. She lands in a base hit toward left field. So for Val Horn, she gets the first hit of the ballgame and gets the first hit of this third inning. And bringing up next is the pitcher Lexi Johnson, who again has been great so far on the mound. Now trying to do it here in the batting group.
Absolutely. Doubled in her previous bat.
She takes in ball number 1. French on the mound staring down Johnson's a pitcher-to-pitcher action. And that ball a little too far down low. Now Horn's got to be careful. It seems like the catcher is doing a really good job at checking her. So Val Horn got to be careful at first base. If she makes a mistake, she could really get caught out in no man's land.
Absolutely.
2-0 the count for Johnson. That one is popped up. And that's an easy play for the shortstop. They'll get the second out of the inning. And Johnson gets the pop out in her second appearance at plate.
As Tedley Warner steps in here.
Yeah, of course. Up next is Tedley Warner, who struck out such as Val Horner in her first appearance on the base. As that one is popped up toward the right fielder. And I believe that one lands in for a base hit.
Right in front of that right fielder, as you said, a nice base hit for Tedley Warner, possibly getting going in this game after her previous play appearance ended up in a strikeout.
It seemed like the right fielder had the ball in her grasp, but the ball kind of miscalculated for her, and instead of keeping going and going into her catching glove, it kind of just dropped right in front of her. As that one lands in for a base hit, that brings in Val Horn, and that will tie the game up at 2-2.
A seeing eye single there, another RBI, as Rosenbaum in that 5th position has been balling all year, continues in this game so far.
And that was Rosenbaum that got the RBI just right now, so that would give her 2 RBI hits so far in this ball game. So both runs scored. Got to give the credit to Rosenbaum.
As Conboy check swings, fouls it off for strike one.
So you have Warner on second, and I believe you have Rosenbaum on first. Conboy takes in ball number one. That one a swing and tipped foul. Raise the count up to 1-2. French was in a really, really great rhythm to open up this bottom of the third. Got her sixth strikeout, but now has given up a run and a couple of base hits. As that one over to French and an easy play to the first baseman, and that retired the inning. Another RBI hit for. Go ahead, Josh.
As that could end French's day, as Neiman, number 26, is warming up in that previous bat there.
LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view their inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All-Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go!
Coming into the top of the fourth, a 2-2 ball game. What do you think about this game so far, Mister?
Yeah, of course. I believe this game has gone exactly as we predicted in the pre-broadcast, as both of these teams are going to be neck and neck throughout the entirety of this ball game. And so far, the score reflects it. The play of these both teams has reflected our prediction so far.
Absolutely.
Again, the bottom of the third, we had a RBI hit for Rosenbaum that makes it her second of this ball game. That's the first one, I believe, called in for strike number one.
As Phillips
yeah,
takes it.
The sophomore Phillips hitting at a 2.60 batting average on the year. 13 hits along with 8 RBIs. Takes in ball number one. The third pitch is a little too far on the outside. Gets called in for ball number 2.
And if I'm Phillips here, I'm letting Lexi Johnson kind of let her get chase in this and that so I can get in a hitter's count so I can drive the ball somewhere in the outfield. As you can see, the spaces all galore, or just draw a walk like Phelps did, a leadoff walk here in the top of the fourth. Here, Hansel.
Yeah, I believe that's the first walk issued by Johnson this ball game.
As Zerlis steps in.
The senior Zerlis, with a 3.18 batting average on the year, takes in strike number one. 21 hits so far for Zerlis on the year, 11 runs scored along with 6 RBIs.
Absolutely.
That one is right down the middle, over to the second baseman, and a great play right there. Able to get out is, I believe,
Bellhorn, trying to start a double play there, bobbles it, but still gets the leading run.
so Phillips gets tagged out, racing to second. As that's in for strike number 1 right down the middle. So some pitcher-to-pitcher action right here with Johnson and French. Again, French not a great hitter, but this one, swing and a miss.
We call that stepping in Lake Michigan there, Hansel, because that front foot almost in the bucket. Or back foot, excuse me.
French takes a little timeout, gets outside the batter's box, gets right back into it, and here's the pitch a little too far on the outside. And that gets called for ball number 2. And we're kind of seeing the same thing with the catcher Rosenbaum, checking up that first base, making sure that the runner doesn't advance to second.
Conboy is playing catching so far. Usually they will have Rosenbaum back there, but the last couple of games Conboy has catched, starting with the Knox game, going through the Christian game as well, Portage as well. But they'll kind of go back and forth there, Hansel.
So French took another timeout, gets back into that batting box with a full count of 3-2, and a swing and a miss, gets it for the second strikeout for Johnson. Now bringing number 4, Rivera, the younger of the Rivera sisters. Last time was able to get a base hit toward the left field, looking to make it 2 for 2 on the batting box. Takes in ball number 1, looking at a 2-out top of the 4th with a runner on first base. That one couldn't check her swing in time, and that will raise up for the first strike of this set right here. That one, base hit right there, lands over the outstretched arms of the third baseman, and that's another base hit for Rivera. Now runners on first and second for the Highland Trojans. We're bringing up the older sister, the older Rivera now.
As Maya steps in after Evie's base hit.
Takes in for strike number 1. So for the Highland Trojans, they're going back up their batting order now. So for Rivera, this is her 3rd batting appearance. Swing and a miss, or that one kind of hard to see, gets in for an out. So I believe. All right, so a play right there from the defense of South Central, able to retire this inning. Had runners on first and second, but a great play right there. We're still tied here at 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view the inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're number one in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go.
As Brooke Pereira stands in here, number 7. Previous bat grounds out.
So that's 2 consecutive innings where South Central's pitching crew has been able to have a scoreless inning. Now looking to make him pay now in the bottom of the 4th. As Rivera takes in ball number 1. So I believe French is still in the game, right, Josh? As Pereira takes in strike number 1.
French is still in the ball game.
6 strikeouts so far for French, but also has let up 2 earned runs. As strike number 2 for Pereira, got caught looking. And raised the count up 1-2. French looking to get another strikeout. This time, though, Pereira does not chase. And gets in for ball number 2. 2-2 the count for Pereira. And that one is popped up and fouled away. So Pereira will come back to the batting box.
Yeah, Hansel. I mean, she's got a Bee Gees song stuck in her head after staying alive there. But kind of what you saw with Anthony Rizzo with the Cubs for years, choke up on that bat and go opposite field here.
So a full count, that ball gets away from the catcher. And now we have a full count for Pereira with a 3-2 count. Here's a pitch from French, and that one is popped up and fouled away. So that'll send Pereira back to the batting box.
For French, in this situation, I might throw her a curveball or a changeup, just change speeds here in the outside corner, see if Pereira either looks or strikes out here as she pops.
And not sure if it's fouled away.
That is fouled away, almost hitting one of Highland's fans.
So for Pereira, back to the batting box. Seems like infinite pitches so far for Pereira.
That's what you want a leadoff hitter do in this kind of inning with a 2-2 game.
And that one grounded, fouled away.
This bat's getting close to double digits so far here.
And that one gets away, but fouled away once again, so couldn't get through the foul line.
And Pereira staying alive here as French winds up and
there we go.
Swing and a miss there, Hansel.
Yep, rack him up for French. That's number 7. Approaching the double-digit mark for French. Yeah, for Zoe French, she's wheeling and dealing in the department for strikeouts. 7 strikeouts in the bottom of the 4th.
As Castle swings right through it.
French has a 5.25 ERA on the year. In 11 appearances, has a 1-0 record with 1 win, 0 losses. has 29 strikeouts so far in the year, but now has 7 so far in this ballgame.
So what you're saying here is, in Satellite Field, French is pitching probably one of her better games so far in her young career.
Yeah, definitely. This game, she seems like she found a rhythm. She found something she likes against this South Central team, and yeah, like you just talked about, she has one of her better games so far against South Central today. As right now, looking at a 1-2 count. Here's a pitch from French, and doesn't get the call right there.
So it's going to move to a 2-2 count, while Emily, being very patient after that 0-2, working the count back.
And we see Castle doing the same thing as she did last time, as she had an 0-2 count predicament. And that one's outside the right foul line. That would bring Emily back to the plate, I believe. So I believe not. The right fielder able to make the play, and that's called in for, I believe, a fly out. So that'll bring up the second out of the inning.
As Bachman steps in here.
And that one a little too far low and in the inside. That gets called for ball number 1. That hit is landed in a base hit right down the middle, and that's a base hit for Bachman. The ball kind of floated a little bit. You kind of had a thought maybe the second baseman or the shortstop was able to get the play, but the ball dropped down pretty fast, and that lands in for a base hit, the first hit in the bottom of the 4th.
Absolutely. We call that an Idaho single. Not quite a Texas blooper, but nonetheless similar species.
Got the job done right there, and that brings in the sophomore Cleek up now on the plate. Takes in ball number 1 with 2 outs on the board. Again, the score is still tied 2-2, as that one lands in for a base hit for Cleek. So that would advance Bachman to second, Cleek to first, and that's 2 consecutive outs for this South Central offense.
As Val Horn stepping in, this is a dangerous situation for the pitcher French.
Yeah, of course, she got her 7th strikeout earlier in this inning, but now with 2 outs on the board, allowed 2 consecutive hits, so she's got to be careful now, as that ball is fouled away.
I've kind of noticed a little bit that Horns kind of, after that home run, is kind of trying to go a little too much yard here after being known for kind of that slap hitter, kind of that started off at the top of the order. It gets you a double, has good power, easy power. Just looks like she's trying too hard to kind of get it over the fence.
So the 0-2 count, Val Horn, that one is right down the middle, but that lands into the hands of center fielder, and that will retire the inning. Score still tied 2-2 as we go to the top of the 5th.
LaPorte's #1 used car dealer, All-Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high-quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view their inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All-Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go.
Top of the fifth here. Still a 2-2 ball game. Anyone's ball game here. So what are some of the keys for South Central and Highland to get past this 2-2 game?
Yeah, it's the same mindset that you have when you enter this ball game. Gotta think of this game as 0-0. As again, you're tied 2-2, and you just gotta go with the game plan that you've been having. Just read and adapt, adjust to these pitches, and over time you start to figure out what kind of pitches you can start to predict what kind of pitches that are going to be thrown. So if you can just time those correctly, predict correctly, and trust your instincts, I believe you can get some runs on the board and some base hits.
As Reed fouls off the first pitch there for strike one for Johnson.
And same thing for both teams too. On the pitching side, you want to mix it up, throw some fastballs, throw some offset pitches. As that one, what a play right there from Castle, but just couldn't make the play in time. Kind of falls on the ground, and the ball just not able to grasp it cleanly, lands in for a base hit.
As a
So
sophomore,
going back, yeah.
Jordan.
Oh yeah, going back, yeah. Sorry, Josh, you go.
It's all good. As Jordan Boyer steps in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the pitching side as well for both teams, for Highland and South Central. You got to make sure that your pitches, you kind of mix it up as the throw to the second base, not in time. Give that credit to a stolen base. Want to mix up the pitches between some fastballs, some off-speed pitches to mix up the timing. That also could play a big factor on if these hitters are able to predict your pitches correctly. Swing and fouled away will raise the count up to 0-2. I believe that's a sophomore Boyd up on the mound, or up on the plate, excuse me.
It's a
Zero outs.
battle of sophomores there, Hansel.
And a swing and a miss gets it for strikeout number 3 for Johnson. Give credit to the third strikeout. And I'll get the first out in the top of the fifth.
As Swallow takes for ball one.
That one grounded out and fouled. So that raised up the count 1-2. That one is hit, and can it stay fair? And I don't think it did. So that one out on the foul line toward the left side. I believe on the plate is the senior prime for Highland. As she checked her swing just in time, gets called for ball number 2. Or never mind, she'll get called out for strikeout number 4 now for Johnson. The strike number 3 right there, so back-to-back strikeouts for Johnson. Now 2 outs on the board with the runner on second base. Swing to miss. Johnson, the fastball right through the middle.
As Steele swings right through it.
That one is popped up away on the left side and fouled away. So it brings up the count 0-2 for Steele. Oh, to the count, and a swing and a miss got him reaching, and that's 3 consecutive outs for Johnson. Rakes him up to 5 strikeouts on the afternoon. Still scored tied here, 2-2. 3 consecutive scoreless innings for both teams as we go to the top of the 6th.
Laporte's #1 used car dealer, All Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network. All Star Autos specializes in high quality used vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. You can view their inventory and apply for credit at allstarlaporte.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're #1 in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go.
Heading into the bottom of the 6th inning there, Hansel. It's just a pitching duel so far here.
Yeah, definitely. Both of these pitchers putting on their A game so far. French with 7 strikeouts. Johnson starting to cook up here at the top of the 5th. Has now up to 5th or 5 strikeouts so far for Johnson. So both these pitchers putting on a show with a 2-2 score.
Absolutely, and I think Neiman is entering the ball game.
If that's the case for Neiman, the sophomore, 0 ERA on the year, but only appeared in 2 of them, has a 1-0 win-loss record, has only pitched in 5 innings so far in this season. So not a lot of experience, but in those 5 innings pitched, has 7 strikeouts. So she can be deadly in that strikeout department as well.
Absolutely. But you had a pitcher dealing with French. So to me, with the new dodgeball movie on the horizon, this is a bold strategy there, Hansel. It's a very bold.
This could go either 2 ways for the Highland Trojans. First, the positive, maybe the South Central hitters has maybe started to figure out the type of pitches that French is throwing. So you throw in a new pitcher with Neiman. Now they don't really know what pitches that Neiman's going to throw. But on the flip side, again, you had a player like French wheeling and dealing up on the mound. You take that pitcher out, maybe South Central figures out Neiman pretty fast, and that could lead to scores running up pretty fast.
Absolutely.
First pitch from Neiman right down the middle in for strike number 1.
As a sophomore, Johnson takes.
Swing and a miss for strike number 2. So back-to-back strikes from Neiman. Looking good so far. Oh, to the count in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch from Neiman a little too far on the outside on the strike zone. And that'll be the first ball of the set. One to the count. That one is popped up and fouled away. Here's the pitch from Neiman, and that went a little too far on the outside once again. That'll raise up this count up to 2-2. 2 to the count. That one is grounded away, and that lands in for a base hit. Got away from the third baseman, and that lands in for the first hit of the 5th inning.
Yeah, I mean, great hitting, a great at bat from Lexi Johnson, staying alive there with a seeing eye single to get it started here for Tenley Warner, who can be a dangerous hitter herself.
So Johnson goes 2 for 3 now on this afternoon. Warner takes in strike number 1. And that one a swing and a miss. That will raise up the count 0-2. So back-to-back strikes now for Neiman. Again, Warner probably one of the better hitters on this team. For South Central looking to rely on their best hitter to bring him some runs. Here's a pitch and then a swing and a miss. Get it for strikeout number 1 for Neiman. And for Warner, that's the second time she has struck out this afternoon.
I've noticed that Satellites are kind of chasing. When they're at their best, they're a patient club on the offensive side.
So that'll bring up the first out of the 5th inning here. So on first base, you have Lexi Johnson looking at a 1 out bottom of the 5th. That one is grounded fouled away on the left foul line. Hitting right now is the sophomore Pereira. One the count in the bottom of the 5th. That one swing and a miss. So that'll be strike number 2 for Pereira with a count 1-2. One to the count with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's a pitch from Neiman, and that one is popped up away on the left foul line. And I'll bring Pereira back to the batting box. Pereira, in her sophomore year, 271 batting average on the year, 13 hits, 10 runs, and 11 RBIs. So that's good to see double digits all across the board for that department. And that one a swing and a miss. Get him for strikeout number 2 for Neiman. And just like her counterpart in French earlier, Neiman is starting to rack up those strikeouts.
And that's one of the first times they retired Rosenbaum in this game.
First pitch from Neiman, a little too far out. And a wild pitch from the catcher to the first baseman. That one gets away. And that results in a advancement for, I believe, Johnson. So Johnson advances to second now. That ball goes right through for strike number 1 on Convoy. Convoy patient on that one, takes in ball number 1. One the count, and a swing and a miss. Gets in for strike number 2.
Avery's been struggling a little bit during this game so far.
Here's a pitch from Neiman, and get him for strikeout number 3. Neiman, balling here in the bottom of the 5th, comes in for the starting pitcher French, has retired 3 straight with 3 strikeouts. Still tied 2-2 as we go to the top of the 6th.
We are sponsored by All Star Autos, the no pressure dealer, the leading dealer in car sales in LaPorte County. We're also sponsored by Warner's Farms. It's all about the beans and the corn. If you crop it, they will come. Jody Geisha Realtor Design. If you need anything in the neighborhood, she is a proud member of the Valparaiso community. And go check out any houses around the area, as she has one of the highest sales and affordable houses on the market. And the American Legion, please go donate to your fellow Legion here in Union Mills, Indiana. And back to the ball game here, Hansel. How's it going and how's it popping?
Oh, it's definitely going great, man. This game has been back and forth. We've been seeing a lot of dominance on the mound for not only South Central, but also for Highland as well. So we're going to see now, coming down near the end of this game, which team is going to crack first, because both of these teams are standing tall and firm. As that one swings right towards the pitcher, and that's an easy 1 pitch out.
Easy one for Johnson there.
That brings in number 11 for Highlands. That's the senior Zerlis. Takes in strike number 1 for Johnson. The senior with a 3.18 batting average, 21 hits, 11 runs scored along with 6 RBIs. Takes in strike number 2. Oh, to the count, that ball is hit toward the left side, and I believe fouled away. So that will get Zerlis back onto the batting box. Oh, to the count for Zerlis. That's the pitch from Johnson right down the middle in for strikeout number 6. They wave it off. They say it's a ball instead of a strike. So that'll raise up the count 1-2. That one grounded toward the left foul line. Zerlis has 2 doubles on the year, along with a triple. Chasing a 1-2 count, patiently waits on that one, as the pitch from Johnson gets a little too far up high and to the right. Two the count. That ball a little too far to the left, and that will bring up a full count 3-2. Great patience here from Zerlis, able to get herself back into this batting hit. And that one toward the third baseman, an easy play to her first base, and that'll make it 2 up, 2 down. That brings in the senior prime, who has a 2.73 batting average on the year. 22 base appearances. Has 6 hits on the year, along with 3 runs and 4 RBIs for the senior prime. First pitch from Johnson is hit from Prime, and that's an easy 1-pitch out. So 1-1 count. Here's the pitch to Pinero, and got him looking. So strikeout number 6 now for Johnson. That's a big out right there. Leaves it to 2 outs on the board here in the top of the 7th. That ball is hit and fouled away on the right side.
As Swallow stands in here, we had a little bit of a technical difficulties here. We're going to fast forward to 7th inning there as a 3-2 ball game there with a runner on second for you guys at home, since the viewers were a little bit behind there, Hansel.
Gotcha. As another ball hit foul away for Swallows. I believe the count is now up to 0-2. So 0-2 the count with a runner on second base. Johnson looking to retire this inning. That one gets away on the right side, and that one gets called for ball number 1. Runner on second with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch from Johnson, a swing and a miss. And that'll get, I believe, called for a ball, which was pretty interesting because it seemed like Swallow kind of reached for it.
Swallow made contact with a foul ball there. They're staying alive.
That one gets away out of the strike zone, and that'll raise the count 2-2. And that one gets away for the third baseman. An easy ground out play, and that'll retire the inning. Evie Rivera, the freshman, making the plays for Highland, is able to go from first to second to third, and now home gives a 3-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, I mean, what's some of the keys for the Satellites to get back with a 1-2-3 here on their top of the order with Horn, with Johnson, and with Warner all coming up? This is the hitters that you want to see here if you're a Satellite fan.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, these are the 3 hitters that you want on the plate with the game on the line, and you can't lead it off any better with Van Horn and with Johnson as well as Warner. Your 3 best players with the chance to bring yourself back into this ball game. And I believe you guys, for those 3 players, they got to keep their composure, keep their calm, and don't reach for the pitches that you're kind of unsure about, because once you start reaching for those pitches, it gets easier for you to strike out.
And that's kind of why the Satellites are in this kind of hole, as you see so far. When they're dominant on that offensive end is when they're kind of taking pitches, kind of seeing what's going on, and relaxing at that plate. It just seems like they're kind of pressing so far.
However, though, they will be taking on Neiman if she still stays on the mound. And if Neiman's still on the mound, that's still a big problem for South Central, as Neiman has been wheeling and dealing so far in this ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, Hansel, I was talking about a bold strategy coming in, but like you said, a different eye as they're starting to hit French and kind of getting on base with French. They throw in a curveball, and Neiman has been controlling the game ever since.
As that first pitch gets called in for strike number 1. Second pitch gets a little away from the strike zone, and that will bring up the first ball in this count. Horn looking to get on base here in the bottom of the 7th. trailing by 1 run, and that ball is hit toward the center field, popped up, and the center fielder makes the easy play. Get that credit to the left fielder. That brings up the first out here in the bottom 7th. Neiman looking to get the save in this ball game. Her team up 3-2 as Val Horn gets called up for a flyout. Now brings up Johnson. Swing and a miss for Johnson. Gets called in for strike number 1. Johnson has 2 hits so far in this ball game, and that one another swing and a miss. Now 2 strikes, 0 balls. Johnson looking to get on base here with a hit. Here's the pitch from Neiman, and that one gets too far low. Good eye from Johnson to not swing on that pitch, and now bring up a 1-2 count. One to the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch from Neiman, and a swing and a miss. Gets called in for a ball. So interesting rule. I believe if you swing but the ball gets away, I guess it's not a strike.
She fouled it off, bud.
You fouled it off? Got you. As the pitch is popped up toward the right fielder, and she makes the easy fly out but can't control the ball. So that one lands in as an error. And for Johnson, she's able to get on base.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fortunate swing to the satellites with a dangerous hitter here. Tinley can end it with 1 swing. Again, power to all fields. 2 home runs this year, but she's got pop.
Swing and a miss for Werner. She struck out twice so far in this ballgame. And like you talked about, Josh, a home run here could end this game. A walk-off home run will result in a South Central win. But a tough task so far as she's facing Neiman, who has been doing miraculous things, has been doing everything she could to keep South Central at bay as strike number 1 here for Werner.
As Johnson steals second there.
Werner takes in ball number 2. Johnson advances to the second base. And now in scoring position with 1 out, Werner could deliver for South Central. Werner takes in ball number 3, so now a 3-1 count. So 3-1 count, swing and a miss, will raise it up to 3-2.
That was my bad. So that was a full count, and Werner strikes out there with Kendall Rosenbaum stepping in here with 2 RBIs already on her plate today.
She could make it a 3rd RBI here as she takes in, I believe, strike number 1. For Neiman, that makes it 5 strikeouts in this ballgame. Absolutely phenomenal. Nothing short of dominance is Neiman in this ballgame.
She comes in and she just changes that tide a little bit, because you saw the satellite hitters kind of trying to get to French a little bit, getting to French a little bit. And now Neiman taking a little rotation on the pitches, or fooling the satellites hitter a little bit.
Throws a bomb over to the shortstop. They get to the first base, and that'll end the ball game. 3-2 win for the Highland Trojans over South Central Satellites. And if Your Highlands, this is a very, very big win against a team like South Central with the capabilities, the talent, and the division they're in. What a great game from Highlands. They really played their game so far and this entirety of this game. What is your thoughts on this game, Josh?
Highland just made the chances that they had a little bit more than South Central. South Central had chances throughout the game, and they kind of blew it at certain places. Lexi Johnson pitched one heck of a game. That's a pretty good lineup at Highland. They were pretty much neck and neck skill-wise. And to me, that's a decent confidence booster for facing a team like Hebron that we're going to see just in a little bit here on Regan's Corner. To go against a team who's in 3-4A like the Trojans are, and to stay within one there and be in place to have the ability to score more. And it just wasn't their day today.
Yeah, I believe South Central and against Highland was able to jump out on the opportunities like you just talked about. And not only that, too, Highland was able to capitalize on the mistakes that South Central had. Whereas for South Central, Highlands played pretty much a perfect game, and South Central just weren't able to catch any breaks. And for Highlands, they were able to jump on any opportunity that South Central had that was given to them.
Absolutely. And me and Hans Solo is going to be back with the Hebron Portage game at 6 o'clock East, at 6 o'clock Central. So stay tuned for that here on Facebook. And we're both signing off here on YouTube as well. So stay froggy, my friend, and have a good satellite night and our all-star player of the game there. So Hans, who do you got?
My all-star auto player has to go to the relieving pitcher for Highlands. It was Alyssa Neiman. She came into the game and she really turned the tide around for this team. But on the other side, for South Central, their player would have to be Lexi Johnson, I believe. She did it on the mound, played really, really great, only let up those 3 runs. And offensively as well, she did land in a couple hits. So for the all-star auto player for South Central, I'll say Lexi Johnson. If there's one for Highlands, I'd say Alyssa Neiman, the relieving pitcher that came in.
Absolutely. Both well-deserving. But I'm going to go French for Highland, starting it off. A great quality start. Keeping her team in the ball game. Houdiniing a couple of innings there in the later part of her start. And then I'm going to go Kendall Rosenbaum. 2 RBIs today, 2 for 4. Continuing that really good hot streak that she's been on in the last couple of games. So I'm going to go Kendall. But Lexi Johnson pitched one hell of a game as well. So Lexi can be All-Star Autos player of the game as well on my side too. And then Neiman, of course. The tides just turn with her on the mound and stuff like that. But